So the next guest that we have was on the show a few months ago, well, several months ago, but she also is going to be doing a seminar at the upcoming National Black Book Festival. And the title of her seminar is about the six-figure formula for an author six-figure formula. What is it? The six-figure author formula. That's the
Oh,
title of her seminar.
I
And
think I've been following her for a while, and I think I stopped following her when my Facebook page got hacked. So I'm gonna have to follow you again, Miss Melanie.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
yeah, so Melanie Bonita, welcome back to Black Authors Matter TV.
Thank you for having me again. I'm so excited to be here.
We're
You're welcome.
excited to have you.
She's a best-selling author. She's a speaker. She's a coach, and she helps authors increase their revenue from their book revenue, especially utilizing social media tools. So, Melanie gave me a few pointers, and I've been able to take advantage of those. One of them that I didn't know about, I never because it's more Instagram driven um, than Facebook. I feel like Facebook didn't start doing the story thing until after Instagram did it. And so I'm on Facebook more than Instagram. And my daughter used to talk about her story, and I didn't get it. But it's really kind of like the way Snapchat let everything be just 24 hours. So the story is 24 hours. And so my thing was why just have something 24 hours? Because I like my stuff to stay there for a long period of time. And the only way you can do that really is through boosting things more or less. If you really wanted to have an extended life, you have to boost it. But the story on Facebook, you taught me about that. And so with the reels that we do with the different segments of the show, we put them in our story, or even this show will be on our story for after the show. And then after that, we'll do reels for the rest of the week. So Melanie taught me that. I didn't really understand it. And then she explained it to me. So she has some good information.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for sharing that. A lot of people don't know the full magnitude of what they can do with Facebook. It's so much more than just, oh, let me make a post and share. There's correct, like you could do at followers, at highlight. But the key is now because of the algorithm, people don't get to see us as much. But when you put it in stories, it's up there when people can see it, like you say, for 24 hours. But the thing is, it gets their attention so that they could come to your page. So
Mhm.
yes, it's social media as authors, especially. It's like 20 years ago, they didn't have social media. We have free marketing, so to speak, where there's people on it, millions of people on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, any social media. You mentioned Snapchat every single day. And I think as authors, we need to take more advantage of sharing on social media and not just limiting ourselves to one type of book marketing strategy.
Right. I
Absolutely. And
agree.
another good thing about stories is that a lot of people get caught in a rabbit hole with stories. They're looking at a story and then they swipe to the next one and they swipe to the next one. So there are people who spend maybe an hour just looking at stories. And so if you're only posting on your page, you're missing an opportunity to connect with people who spend their time in stories. You're missing an opportunity to connect with people who spend their time in reels. My boyfriend is a reel watcher. He watches reels. So if I want to capture his attention, well, I can capture his attention. He's my boyfriend. I'm just saying, as an entrepreneur, if I want to capture his attention, I need to be in the
On
reels.
reels,
I can't
absolutely.
I can't just do a Facebook post and expect that limited audience to be able to see it. You may have 5,000 friends, but
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that all 5,000 people are going to see your stuff.
Absolutely. And they push them out. They push the reels out because they know people are like your boyfriend and they want
Mhm.
people to stay on Facebook. They don't want them to
Right.
leave. So they make sure, even if they're not following you, that they push those reels and those stories out so that people could keep scrolling, keep scrolling.
Well,
Right.
now let me ask you this, Melanie. Now, I think a lot of people are not as I don't want to say active, but they're not posting as consistently
Mhm.
as they may need to because it gets tiring. I'm like, there are gurus out there who say you need to post 5 times a day. That's tiring. Then there are people who say, well, just batch create, let's
Yeah.
say every week, and
Mhm.
then schedule it throughout the week. But if you don't batch create on that Saturday, then you're playing catch up. So do
Right.
you have any techniques for people so they can stay more consistent on social media?
Absolutely. I tell them, even if you don't want to batch it a week, once at a time, before you go to bed at night, for me, it's easier to batch it at nighttime. So before I go to bed at night, I schedule my five, like I said, 3 to 5 Facebook posts for the next day. So it's so funny. People think, oh, she's up at 7 o'clock saying good morning. No, I'm doing my devotional, or I'm in prayer, or I'm listening to my church prayer call. I'm doing something else, but I'm not on Facebook. I schedule that good morning post the night before.
Right.
So, yeah, so I tend to schedule most of my posts the day before. I tried doing like once a week, but it did become overwhelming because it was just too many posts. If you think about scheduling once a week, if you're going to do 5 days a week, literally, if you do it once a week, you're scheduling like, 5 to 25 to 35 posts. So,
Yeah. And I'm so sad. I would sometimes create all that content and still wouldn't schedule. Like I done forgot to schedule the content.
I have had that happen before, and that's why I try to do it right away. So the other
Right.
thing I do, so that's for like posts. The other thing I do for actually reels that you're talking about, and I have to start doing it again. I've been traveling so much, so I haven't met with my videographer, but I have a videographer. And when I meet with my videographer like once or twice a month, right? Or every 2 or 3 weeks, my videographer will do a whole bunch of short form videos. Like I will go ahead and he has a something where I could teleprompter where I could just read so I'll just go ahead and create it, read it. He sends it to one of my virtual assistants in the Philippines, and my virtual assistants in the Philippines, he will put the graphics on it. He will, chop it up into a reel, and he can use my Metricool or another app. You can use another app so that they don't have access directly to your social media, but you can have them
Mhm.
use Metricool, and he uploads the video. So that saves me a lot of time. All I have to do is record them. Well, I don't even have to record them. My videographer records them.
That's
Yeah.
So
a good idea. I tell you, the best thing I could have done was get a team.
yes,
People ask me why am I so consistent on Instagram or why do I have so many followers? I have a great social media assistant who does all of that for me. I can't do it myself.
right. Yes, the team is huge. And a lot of people say, oh, well, it may not be in my budget. I can't afford it yet. And you can't afford not to do it. I mean, it's like seriously, you can't afford not to have that team. And like I say, some of the literally in the Philippines, some of them are only $2 an hour. $2 an hour, $3 an hour, $4 an hour, and they do good work. My graphics person, and so you can find them because the Philippines, they say they got to have a degree just to work at McDonald's. They don't have enough jobs for them. But if you call PayPal, you call T-Mobile, you call it's Filipino people. They hire all these people in the Philippines. And I don't want to take away from people working here in the US, but the reality is they do better work for less pay.
Mm.
Mm.
Now I do all of our social, but we do it for clients. So half of my social posting is clients. And
Mhm.
then because of this amazing show where we've interviewed almost 700 people, we
Awesome.
have so much content to create reels from. So
Yeah.
I'm creating reels from shows. I think I'm a year and a half behind.
Oh, wow.
Literally a year and a half.
See, that's not a problem for you. Right. So that's easy for you.
No, we've
And,
got
and
tons of content.
And that's a good idea, what you just said, because you have this show. So for authors out there that don't know what to do, have a weekly show and then take from the weekly show and use those for reels, just like you do. So, and
Mhm.
I need to do that because I do have a six-figure author podcast. I need to be more consistent with that. So you all are consistent. You have this every single week. So you have plenty of content.
And then four interviews each week. So that's 4 reels, but I'm a year and a half behind.
But you gonna catch
I'm
up. I know
literally
you gonna catch
working.
up.
I'm literally working on March of 2023. That's what I'm working on. So I'm never gonna run out of reels. That's really the long and the short of it. Now I
Oh,
did test what your idea about the story. I tested it. I posted a reel without making it the story. And then I posted a reel and made it the story. And the difference was 200 views versus 800 or 900 views.
I told you it worked, didn't it?
So now every time I post a reel, I make it part of the story. So
Oh.
I make it the story for that day. And so it does make a difference. Now we're approaching 100,000 followers. We're at 98,000 and like 200 right now. And I think by the time of the festival, because we're doing a lot more marketing, which gets us more followers. We're doing the paying Facebook with me. That's what that means. We're paying Facebook more to get the word out. And so we're getting more followers per day than we normally do. But
Mm-hmm.
we pay Facebook every day anyway. We just pay them more when it's leading up to the festival.
Awesome. 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 And that's awesome because that's the thing is more awareness and not only to, the author community, but of more awareness to, of course, Black authors, more awareness to the event, more
Yeah.
awareness to everything that's coming up. That's how I found out about you all years ago is from ads, the Facebook ads. So they work. And you just said something. Look, Facebook stories work, Facebook ads work, boosting. And so, like I said, there's so many things we can do with social media, and the average person does. Matter of fact, this week alone, I think I told about 3 people that didn't know Facebook pays 7 different ways. So people are just posting and they don't even know that they can, not everybody, but that they can generate an additional stream of income, 7 streams of income from Facebook.
So you're going to be talking about some of this at your seminar. Your seminar is Saturday, October 19th at 1 p.m. from 1 to 3 p.m. And tell us a little bit about what you'll cover in your seminar.
Absolutely. So the seminar is the six-figure author formula. And I used to have people tell me all the time when I wrote my first book, oh, you can't make money from books. You can't make money from books. So I needed to, of course, prove them wrong. And so I had to teach them, look, this is how you can make 6 figures from your book. Initially, I started teaching about becoming a best-selling author, but you could become a best-selling author and still not make a lot of money and still have to work a job. I know a lot of authors, they're very, very unhappy at their jobs. I call it a just over broke, right? Or some people call it the journey of the broke. But they want to be self-employed and they just don't know the strategy. So in the six-figure author formula, I teach them so many strategies on how to become free from their job so that they could live the life that they love and go and sign books, do the speaking engagements if they want to, and just really live the life of a full-time author, speaker, and coach. And if they're disciplined enough and diligent enough to follow the instructions I give them, literally really become a six-figure author and make 6 figures from their books.
Okay, so there'll be a lot of authors at the festival and a lot of aspiring authors
Awesome.
come as well. And so one bit of advice I give authors is those aspiring that Rome wasn't built in a day, and your first book is not likely to set the world on fire. That's just not the way it works. Now, some people are able to turn their first book into a big money maker, but the average person doesn't. And so, and that's mainly because most first books are autobiographical and
Mm,
they're not really motivational
mm,
or something where people can gain information or be entertained or whatever. So, and when people write their biographies or autobiographies, I tell them unless you're a celebrity, nobody really cares. That's just really, it's hard to sell that. You may need to get it off your chest,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as people buying it and
Yes.
paying what now, and sometimes people want to charge 20 or $25 for a book that's like 100 pages. And
Mm.
so those aren't likely to. I'm just talking about likelihood. And
Well,
people
no,
sometimes
you're
people
right
take it for
about that, Gwen. You're right about I tell people when most people want their first book to be a book about their life.
right.
And what I tell people, if you're not a celebrity, if you're not a famous entrepreneur or
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 some
anything
but
like
many
that, it's
people
going to be
know.
very hard to sell your book. So I tell people all the time, and it sounds harsh, I say nobody cares about your life story.
They don't.
However, they do care about the message that you're trying to get across. So if you can tell your life story in such a way where you're giving a message, like for instance, Cupcake Brown, nobody knew who she was, but
Right.
she had such a compelling story
Mm-hmm.
and she had a message behind her story that her story became a best-selling book.
Mm.
So if you're able to formulate your message as you're telling your story, we don't need to know about the day you were born up until the day you stand in front of me. But if you can deliver your message and weave your story in between that, then that could wind up probably doing very well. But some people don't want
Well,
to hear that.
well, let me change the narrative for you a little bit because again, social media has changed the game. So you
Mm-hmm.
could become not be famous yet, but you could become a social media influencer in 6 months,
Absolutely.
and then everybody will want to buy your book just because you're a social media influencer. So
If
that's
my
one.
girl Jackie Honor writes the book, I'm buying it. I love her.
See, that's the thing. And so you could become an influencer just on Instagram or just on TikTok. You could literally have one video go viral and get 1 million views, and I've seen it so many times, especially on
Hmm.
TikTok. TikTok is one of the easiest platforms to go viral on. And so, and YouTube Shorts now, because again, people they just scroll through, like you said, your boyfriend, the reel. So that's two. Number three, best known beats best product. So it doesn't even matter how good the book is. If you are out here hustling and you're out here at every event selling your books, you had a book signing every week or a speaking engagement every week. So I'm gonna give you a little tips. So, Les Brown is one of my mentors, right? He made his first million in 3 years before social media, before all of this. Not because he was famous. He wasn't famous back then, but that's how he became famous, is because he said, you know what? I'm make a decision every stage I could get on. I'm going to speak for free and I'm going to sell my You Got to Be Hungry. He had a $10 cassette. He sold
Hmm.
them to um 4 cassettes, $10 each, $40. So every time he spoke, he sold it for $40. And in 3 years, he was a millionaire because he was willing to go out there and hustle, or people that are willing to get ads, Facebook ads for their books, or now Amazon ads. Amazon has ads now. Etsy has ads. TikTok, everyone has ads now. Just like you boost the show and the event, you literally could be a nobody and nobody know you, but you get the right ads person and they put ads on your book, you can literally make 6 figures from a book with
Right.
nobody knowing you because of Facebook ads, Instagram ads, TikTok ads, or even Etsy ads or Amazon ads. So it's just the social media has changed the game. You really, without being famous, I don't care if it's your biography, I don't care what it is. You can add the right ads person and the right type of they call it creative for your
Hmm.
ad, and you can sell 1 million books.
Well,
Okay, now what you
the key is to
yeah,
have
okay, that's what I was
is to
gonna
put the
say.
work in.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Because now what you said, yes, it can happen, but that's true before social media now or with anything, you have to be willing to hustle. You have to put some work in. You can't just say, okay, I'm gonna do it and then sit at home and it's just gonna do it by itself. That's not the way
Well,
anything
I'm
works.
gonna tell you about my one of my coaches, Billy Jean. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
But I was listening to one of his classes today. He said a lot of times they'll tell you as an entrepreneur you have to go network. And he talks very raw. He's like, I'm not networking shit. I'm not going out there. I don't want to. But the thing is, some people will hear that and say, well, he became a millionaire and he doesn't go out networking. But you know what he does do? He does a lot of ads. He's on
Absolutely.
social media all the time. He teaches
Absolutely.
people how to create social media ads. So he
Right.
doesn't have to go out there and network because his customer base is coming to him. So I
He's
say all
doing
of that to say,
networking online.
I'm sorry.
He's networking online.
No, he
Yes.
doesn't network. He
No, I'm
sells.
saying what he's doing is
No, no, what he's
essentially,
doing is not networking. All he's doing is selling. He doesn't
well, but
network.
yeah, but what I'm saying is he's connecting with people, but it's on.
No, I'm trying to tell you, he does not network with, he does not do that. All he does, he gets out there and he does Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and he teaches. But ask him to name 10 people in one of his classes, he couldn't tell you.
Oh, okay. I'm
Awesome.
using networking in a generic sense.
Right. She's basically saying he's built his community and built his clientele virtually networking through
Right.
social media.
As opposed
Yeah,
to
well, if you want to call it
physical.
virtual
Yeah,
networking, but see,
yeah.
the way I see networking is getting to know people and knowing who they are, and then getting to know other entrepreneurs. I'm saying that there's not a lot of people he does that with. He's just about selling. But even so, he's not going to. My point is he's not going to networking events, and a lot of people will hear him say that. Well, Billie Jean doesn't go to networking events, so I'm not going to go to networking events either. I'll just sit at home and I'll post my book on social media and they're going to come to me. And they don't realize how much hustle he does on the
Right.
back end, is my
Right.
point.
Right.
No, I
But,
just
but
get back to my original point.
Mhm.
It takes hustle. Whatever, whatever you're doing is not going to do itself. It's not going to just poof happen. You have to have a plan and a strategy, and you have to hustle and
Mhm.
work it. And you can do it with, like Melanie says, she finds people in the Philippines. I, you know, and I've never used marketers from there, like graphics people, because I
right.
use ones here, but um I do use graphics for my books I get
Mhm.
from overseas. So,
Absolutely.
a lot of people overseas, they do good work. Um and it's normally cheaper. There might be communication issues a little bit, but you have to work
Yes.
that out. You have
Yes.
to work that out. But if you need to save money, and we all like to save money, it's a good way to find, and you can find them on several different platforms. Fiverr is one. I've used Freelancer, uh, and there's some other ones, but those are ones that are more one-on-one, where you're not going through a third party trying to hire. It's more like face to face with whoever the individual is, and you're negotiating with them, or you're talking to them about their service. So
Mhm.
is that the way though? Is that how did you find the people in the Philippines?
Actually, one of my coaches referred them. They use them all the time.
Okay.
And there's several or YouTubers as well. When I looked at like people that have like they talk about doing ads, they talk about Shopify store. I'm always learning. That's the thing about me is I'm always trying to learn how to do better, how to get better, how to sell more, how to do more. And so I've heard a lot of even the drop shipping YouTubers say, hey, we use these people in the Philippines to do X, Y, and Z. So I started doing my research and I said, you know what? I didn't realize they were as cheap as like $2 an hour though. But there are several websites that some of the YouTubers shared. So I went to them. So how they work is it's different than Fiverr because you can communicate with them outside of that particular website. Some of them you do pay a one time, like once a year or a monthly fee. And then you literally can post a job and you can have you'll have like hundreds of people apply for that particular job. Say you want somebody to moderate a Zoom or you want someone to edit some videos for you, then you post video editing, what you're looking for, and you'll have people apply for it. Or you also can look through some of the people, you could put whatever job you want them to do, and you can start looking at their resumes and what they do, and you
Okay.
can hire them. You pay through the app, but my guy usually, like I said, we communicate through WhatsApp on a regular basis. And whatever I need, I just send it to them, pay them once a week. You don't even have to pay them up front. You pay them
Mhm.
after the job is done. Unlike Fiverr, you pay before the job is done.
Yeah, they kind of they hold it and then they don't release it until the job is done.
Right. But I
It's on,
mean,
put the money
right,
in trust or whatever.
right. So
It's on
we pay,
escrow or whatever they call it. And
yes,
then they get paid after the job is done because you have to approve releasing the funds
right.
before they get the money.
Well,
But you don't have the money anymore.
Melanie, we have about 5 minutes left. What are a couple other tips you can kind of squeeze in before we end?
One is to not limit yourself. So expect, because a lot of people limit themselves as I'm just an author. No,
Mm.
your book, you can create multiple products and services around your book. And so I tell them you could create a whole coaching package, a speaking topic. You can, the one title of your book, you can create merchandise from the everything around your whole book. And so don't limit yourself to that. And then also don't limit yourself to selling onesies. Learn how to sell to groups. So I'm going to talk a lot more about that in my workshop about what type of groups you can go out there and get. I'll mention one now. You can go to book clubs, right? A lot of people don't even think about that. They're like, oh, I got to sell one at a time. No, sell multiple books, even with to one person. Like when I just did a book signing at the Congressional Black Caucus, and most of the people bought 4 books from me. Why sell one? If I
Hmm.
sell 10 people, if I see 10 people and only selling one book, that's only 10 books. But if I sell 4 to each person, that's 40 books. That's a big difference, isn't it?
Yes, it's a big.
Absolutely.
So I tell people learn how to sell in bulk and so many different opportunities to sell in bulk. I mean, some of them, even some of my clients, they're like school teachers. I'm like, you've never thought to go to your school, library and have them buy it in bulk. People just, it's like a lot of people just don't think about basic ways they can sell. And so in this, the six-figure author formula, like I said, I talk about selling in bulk. I talk about just all kinds of different creative ways to market your book that the average person just don't think about.
So how can we sign up for your webinar?
No, it's live at
Okay.
yeah, I'll be there. She just said, what, Saturday? What time is my workshop?
Is that
Oh,
one?
you mean you're doing it in Houston?
Yeah, she's
Yes,
doing
ma'am.
Oh, and then you were talking. I thought you were doing something like in the next few days. My
No,
bad.
I
Well,
used
it
to,
will
yeah, I
be in
used
next
to,
few days.
yeah,
It's
in
gonna be here
October.
before we know it.
Yes, and I will be doing it in Houston there. I used to do it live, and I'm thinking about doing it again. A lot of people have asked. So I want you all to come to Houston though. Those that are watching, if you can't come to Houston, message me on and if I get enough people, I'll go ahead and set up a webinar. But for now, I'm doing it live in
And
Houston.
Well, I'm looking
So
it's
forward to
free.
interviewing
Everybody
you.
can come.
I'm looking forward to interviewing you in Houston. I
absolutely.
try to interview the workshop facilitators prior to their workshops so we can try to get
Oh,
more people to come on out. So I'm looking forward to
absolutely.
interviewing you there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Rhonda is our official literary correspondent at the festival, in addition to being the co-host of Black Authors Matter TV, and we've taken the show on the road. And so we it's been interesting. I'll put it like that.
All right. Well, I look forward to meeting you all in person there. I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, and I think you two share a military background. Don't you have a military background, Melanie?
I am a veteran of the United States Army. Yes, ma'am.
Too.
Boy.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So thank
yes.
you
And
both for your service.
Thank
my
you.
pleasure. I think veterans are taught enough discipline where we literally have that leadership ability and organizational skills that we learn from the military to help us be better entrepreneurs. I really do. I think militaries are more disciplined. And when I see other entrepreneurs, not saying that they're not disciplined enough, I just think that we're taught different when we're in the military. And so if we have to stay up later or if we have to get up early, it's like we
Right.
have this
We
make
do
it
what we
happen
have to do.
attitude.
And that's true. I haven't met any. Now, I'm not talking about people like got in the army and then got dishonorably discharged because they couldn't cut it. I'm talking about people who've been in the service and spent some years in there I haven't met one that wasn't solid, just really a go-getter and directed, focused.
Yes.
And so I like working with people like that because entrepreneurs are like that. And I'm a long-time serial entrepreneur. So you have to be like that to make it work because
Yes.
it's up to you to make your living, you know.
Yes.
So that's what it takes. Well, we're at the end of our time, Melanie. Can't wait to see you in person in Houston, October 19th. And come on out, everybody, to the festival and to attend Melanie's workshop.
All right. See you later. Thank you for
Okay.
having me again.
All
Thank you
right.
for
All right.
being
Bye-bye.
here.